Hello and welcome to Pattern Making with Let Morris. We're back again. We're going to be carrying on with another skirt, and this is a lovely skirt that I have designed here. And we're going to be doing this skirt. It's got a yoke, no waistband, and it's well, you can make this skirt short as well as you can make it ankle length or knee length. You know, it depends on you. So, and I'm going to do it a half circle. You can do it a full circle or a quarter circle. It depends on you. You can even do this with gathers coming from the yoke, but we don't want to do that today. So, and the back has got a zip in it, and it's pointed at the front. It's going down in a pointish look at the front, and it's going up at the side. So that's depending on you how long you want to do this. So we're going to be doing this today. So I hope you are able to come along with me, watch me as I go through this lesson, and then you'll be able to do it yourself. And you know, we need the pencils, we need tape measure, we need the ruler, scissors, set square, and paper. So here we go. I'm going to start off with blocks because whatever I do, I start off from the block. I don't just do measurements, because I start off by creating my blocks from measurements. Once I've got my block, it makes life much more easier. You can just go back to your block and create whatever shape, whatever style you want. So I am going to start off with my blocks. So that is the style that we're going to be creating today. It's got a center back zip inside of it, and here we go. So we're going to start off with our blocks. So there's our blocks, and as I said, we always start off by marking or tracing off our blocks, putting the darts position in, trace the back and the front off. Once you've done that, you can put your blocks to one side, because that's where you start. So you've got all your measurements ready for your skirt, so you don't have to measure out the waist, you know, measure down the length, or the only thing you have to decide on how long you want to do your design. So this is the block. We've got the front and we've got the back there, and we've marked them out. And once we've marked them out, we can just create on these draft. We're going to call these our drafts now, because we're going to build on this. This is where we're going to create our foundation for the design of the skirt. So on this skirt, we're just going to create the yoke, what we're going to call it, the yoke shape for the skirt that we have. So this style line here, this section here is the yoke. So we're going to create that, and that's just depending on you how deep you want that to be. So I'm going to start on the front, and I'm going to create it about I'm going to take it about 2 inches from the actual finished waist measurement there, and I'm going to shape it around across to the front. So I'm going to measure down. So this is where you need your tape measure. You measure down 3 inches or 2 inches, whatever you decide. And then we're going to decide on how deep down you want it at the front. You measure that down, and then you connect that shape around to that shape. So, you know, you sort of mark it on. If you're not happy with it, you can take it out. This is why you use a pencil, and you reshape it. You can take it a bit higher, and you can take it a bit lower, or take it a bit higher. Once you decide that's where you want it, then you can define the line a bit firmer. So it's coming through the darts, as you can see, but don't worry about it. We're going to close up that dart because we don't want that dart in there. So that is the yoke section of your skirt that you're going to create. Then you decide from the top of the waist how long you want the skirt to be, to the longest point, whether you want it below the knee ankle to your ankle, or you even want it to be an evening wear to the ground, to the floor. And then you measure from the top down where you want that skirt to be. And I've made a line here roughly where I want it to be already. So I've drawn that line on across there, as you can see. And then I'm going to decide how far up I want it to come at the side. And that's depending on you, whether you want it at your knee, below your knee, above your knee. So I'm going to measure up from that point up to where I want it. And I'm going to put a mark. And then with my ruler, I'm going to connect a line from that point to that point, like that. So I've got that shape. So, and if I've decided, I look at that line and I'm not happy with it, I want to take it up higher up, you can take it higher up. So that's how you create your bits, your style on your block. And you do the same thing at the back, which is, this is the back section. Whatever that measurement is, you're going to measure it and you're going to take it from the top and you're going to mark it, and we're going to keep it the same along there, and we're going to take it over to there and we're going to mark it, and then with your curve, you just curve it around to that position there. Just curve that line around to there where you've marked it, and we're going to get rid of that dart. And you do the same thing. You're going to make sure you've got the distance from there to there as you've got the distance there. So whatever that measurement is, you have to take it along, or you can measure it up from the line that you have drawn where you want it to be. And you just put a mark, because those side seams have to be the same all the way, because they have to match. So from there, you connect the line like that, straight line into that point. So now you've got your shape on. So the next thing we have to do, we're going to start off, we're going to do work on the front. So I'm going to cut out the shape here. So I just want to just stress how important it is to work from your block. It makes life easier and it makes it quicker when you're making your pattern, because you don't have to worry about too much measurements and all of that. So you can put the other back away. And then what we need to do is, I'm going to cut on this line, because that's where how I want the shape to be. So I take that bit off there. And what I'm going to do now, I'm also going to cut on this line here, like that. Like that. And you can see that we've got some remaining dart there. We're going to get rid of that as well. We're going to put it into the flare of the actual dress. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line while I'm at that position down through there, because I'm going to get rid of that dart into there as well. I'm going to open it out. So I'm going to put another line here, because I want it to be opened out to a half a circle. Right, so I'm going to put that one to one side and come back to that. We're going to do this bit first. So I'm going to get another piece of paper. I'm going to fold it, because this time I want it to be on the fold, this front piece on the fold. So I'm going to fold it over here, and I'm going to fold it. I'm going to get hold of that yoke piece, because this is called the yoke. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut on this line here. It doesn't matter, you can cut on that line as well as you can cut on the back line. Doesn't matter, because we're just going to close them out. So once you've cut on that line and you've got this one, you're going to place that edge to the fold like that, and you sellotape it on or prick stick it on, whichever is easier for you. And make sure it's secure on your new paper that you're making, new pattern paper that you're making. So just secure that down onto there like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close that out like that. So we actually putting that edge to that second line by close. This is what we're closing the dart out. and then the shape begin to take a different shape, because we're now having no seam, we're having no dart rather in that piece. So once we've closed that out, the shape goes. So what is happening, the dart that we've got here is now going into that shape. So we're getting a nice shape. So it's no good in you making a straight piece, because you won't get a good fit. So you have to follow your pattern from your blocks, the shape. So you close your dart out, you're getting that shape, and all you do is just mark around that shape along the side and follow this new shape that you've got here, and you take that around. And once you've got those off, you can take that off now, and then you can make nice smooth line with your curve, you know, get a nice curved shape into there, touching back to that side, and you just do a nice curve from that point there, and you just curve that in so you get a nice curve. And you also do the same thing on your waist area, so you get a nice curve into those shapes, and that is your side seam. And you've got a nice curve, you just curve them in, and it's curved nice and curved. And then all you do is just put your seam allowance, because you only need 1 centimeter along the top of your waist, centimeter on your side along there, and then you need 1 centimeter around the bottom of your yoke section there. So your pattern piece is like that, and this is now your front yoke. We're going to call that the yoke, because that is your front yoke, and we're going to cut 2 of those. So it's the front yoke, and we're going to cut 2 plus 1 fuse. You need a fuse there because to give it a nice stiff and firm fit to the body, so it doesn't roll over and curl up. Once you've got the fusing in it, it gives it body, and it makes it lie very nicely around your waist area. So that is your front yoke section. So once you've got that, you can open that out, and then we can mark the grain line on. So we use the center of that for our grain, and so that is your grain along there, and that is your front. And now all we have to do, we can use that same one while we're at it to make the back. And all we do is, if we're doing the back, we just do a straight line, because we're having a zip in the back. We place that on that straight line for the back, and then we're going to mark along there, copy that off, and we use that same pattern piece for the back. That you only do that if you've got the same amount of dart in your block. If not, you have to do them separately. So if you've got the same amount of dart on your block as you've got on the front, so all you do is add your centimeter there. You've already got it on here, and you've got it on here, so you just mark it on, and you've got it on there. And this is now your back yoke, and you're going to cut 4 of those plus 2 fuse, and then this line here becomes your grain line. And then you just cut out the pattern piece, and this becomes your back yoke. And then you just cut that out, and you've already done your back at the same time as you're doing your front. But that is only if you've got the same amount of dart width on your back as you've got on your front. If you haven't, then you have to do the same process that I did when I did the front. So now those are your 2 pieces you've got for your back and your front. So once you've got those, you then carry on with with the bottom half of your skirt. So once we've got that, we're then going to lay that on a new sheet of paper, and we're going to cut up on this line here, like that, up to the end of that dart, because we're going to close that out, and we're going to cut along that line there, because we're going to do what is called slash and spread to get our half a circle. So once we've done that, we're going to cut up on this line also, where we've got the rest of this little darts in here, down to that line, because we're going to close it and open out. So just before we close and open out, we're just going to fold the paper, because we're doing the front and we want it on the fold edge. So I'm going to fold that over. If you've got enough paper, if not, you can cut it on the single, but you must write on the edge, place on the fold, so that your center front comes on the fold edge like that. You can secure it down with some sellotape, or you can secure it with a pin or prick stick, and then you just get hold of your other pieces. I'm going to number them. So you will secure number 1, we've got number 2 and number 3. And then all we've got to do is get rid of this dart, and we're going to open it out into the bottom. So you bring that over to close it out like that. And as you can see, it's closed out. And we're going to open this one out as much as we can till it comes out round to a half a circle. So once that's closed out, we get that opening, and we then open that one out. And what I normally do is square a line out from my fold edge with my ruler stick to get a half circle, and I'm going to pivot this one all the way around. I'm going to open it out till it comes all the way around, so I don't have to worry. So that one's been closed out, the dart, and we're getting all that fullness in there, and we're just going to get some more fullness, and we're holding that down there because we've closed that dart out as much as we can. We can swing it out a bit more if we want, so we get some more fullness in there, in that area, and then we swing the third one round so that it touches the ruler or the line that we have, like that. So we're getting, it's touching right at that corner, and then what we do is we just fill that in and take it all the way around. So once we've done that, we just mark along the top like that in that area till it touches the ruler at that point, and we can just put a little mark there, and then all we have to do is get good nice curve along there. So we mark along that area, that area, that area, and that here along the point there. So all we're going to do now is get a nice run all the way around to there, like that. So once we've done that, we can, and we mark the end of there, we can just straighten up the line along there like that. So we're getting that along there like that. So I'll rub that out. So once we've got that, all we have to do now is move these out of the way, and then we're going to get a nice, we're going to create a nice curve back round from that position there. So don't worry about there, because we're getting, at that point there, it's going to drop when we cut out our fabric, so we've got to come up. So that's where that is, so we have to take that up. So we've got to follow this round, taking that off, round, and follow the shape back down to this position that we've got. So we get a good run all the way down, round, and then back round to a slight, not so pointy, but a little bit of a round. So we get that shape. And then all we do is we just get a nice shape into there as well with your curve, and we curve that back into there. So we get a nice curve into there also around the yoke line section, and we've got to check so that we know that this measurement is measuring the same for our yoke. So we get hold of the yoke pattern, and we've got to measure from that point to that point and make sure we've got the same measurement from there all the way around to here, So because that has to fit back into that area like that, round, round, and round into there. So whatever that measurement is, this one has to be the same. And then once you've checked and you've got that measurement, you just put your centimeter around that area here. And then you put a centimeter down the side for your side seam here. Centimeter along there. And then all you do is just put a centimeter or a quarter of an inch, because that's all you need, because this is going to be very full, and you just overlock the edge and you edge stitch it to get a nice line. So really and truly, although you've come to a point, you don't want to have it pointed here, have it slightly curved round to nothing. So that is your shape. So this is now your front skirt, and you're going to cut one of those, and then you just cut out the shape. You cut that shape out because you've already checked and you know that that would fit back into your yoke section. And this is your seam, your side seam down here, and then we go around the bottom section. We take that round, we follow the round. We've taken that a little bit up because we know that that drops because that's on the bias there. So we taken that up and we've gone right round because we want our skirt to be leveled. We don't want the back to be short, the side to be long, too long, because we're not leveling it. So that is the shape of your front skirt. Looks like that. Those are your side seam. That's your front coming to a curve, not to a point, slight curve and round, and all the way back up, because it makes it easier for you to stitch the hem if it's not a point, if it's slightly curved. And that piece sits into there like that. And then that drapes back, this drapes back round when you've machined it. So that's how you do the front. And then we're going to be doing the back in just a little while. So stay with us and we will be back.